We have a couple of minutes just when we wait. We wait for a couple of minutes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Let us begin our Metta recital. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds. Whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless living friendliness, above, below and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment, whether standing, walking or sitting, lying down or whenever awake. One should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. Okay, with this metta thought in mind, let us continue our meditation. At this moment, we sit in our comfortable posture and focus the mind on our breathing. Notice the breath rising and falling, appearing and disappearing. Notice the feeling of your breath. Notice your perception of the breath. Notice your attention to the breath and become conscious of your inhaling and exhaling without using any words. Let it happen very naturally so that it will be easier for you to gain concentration. And notice your breath is becoming calmer and calmer. The body becomes calmer and calmer. your feeling becomes calmer and calmer. At that time you notice no greed can arise in your mind. The mind becomes calm and relaxed. There is no any reason for agitation. When the mind is not agitated, at that time your mind becomes even more calm, more relaxed. Greed fades away. When greed fades away, the mind becomes more calm and more peaceful, more relaxed. At that time you feel your metta feeling. You know when the mind is calm, relaxed and peaceful, no resentment or anger stays there. It fades away. Metta feeling will become a dominating factor. So with this metta thought, metta feeling, continue your attention to the breath. Keep paying attention to the breath. And then perhaps when your mind, body, feeling, breath, all this are calm, you might feel sleepy. There is nothing wrong in that because it is very natural, and we have to get rid of this sleepiness and drowsiness in order to continue our practice with diligence. In order to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness, Buddha highly recommended for us to focus mind on bright light. We visualize bright light. When we visualize bright light, sleepiness and drowsiness fades away. If it doesn't work for some people, it is recommended that they take deep breath, hold it as long as they can, and slowly breathe out. When they do this several times, their body warms up and they even perspire. Sleepiness will fade away. They will have more energy to stay awake. So we use our effort to overcome sleepiness and drowsiness this way. When sleepiness and drowsiness fades away, its opposite, restlessness and worry can arise. We may recall some unfinished business or things that we have done incorrectly from the past. Or the mind will go to the future and we may plan the future. So the mind vacillates between the past and the future. In order to stop this, we have to use the breath which is going on in the present moment. When the mind focuses on the breath, that restlessness and worry fades away. Mind stays on the breath. And then what is left is our doubt, the last hindrance, which we can overcome by using our awareness of the perfectly enlightened Buddha's wisdom. He taught us this method from his own personal experience. He used this for many years. He used his breath for even attaining enlightenment, developing insight, which is called enlightened path. And we have full confidence in that path. We have confidence in the Buddha, who used Dhamma for attaining liberation, and that is the Dhamma we also follow. Buddha very generously recommended us to use the same tool for attaining liberation that he used. That is the breath. And follow the Dhamma. And following the Dhamma, his disciples attain liberation. This Dhamma that he followed and his great disciples followed is not outside ourselves. That Dhamma is within ourselves. We experience our feeling, perceptions, thought and consciousness. We experience them changing constantly, consistently, without ever stopping for a fraction of a second. The body changes, feeling changes, perception changes, consciousness changes. They all change very rapidly. These 5 are called 5 aggregates. They change. This changing nature is the nature of Dhamma, Dhamma that we experience. All mundane things change, and we experience that. So we have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and noble disciples. We also have experienced that our greed fades away, anger fades away, sleepiness fades away, restlessness and worry fades away. This is a good experience for us to have confidence in our own practice. This is the way how Dhamma works. With this confidence we can have deeper awareness of impermanence, and also when we see impermanence in everything, we have niramisa joy, that is joy not related to material things but related to the nature of Dhamma, the truth. And that joy makes us even more calm and peaceful. That leads to happiness. Happiness is not an excitement. Happiness is calming factor in spiritual practice. When we are happy, we gain concentration. Concentration does not make us like a vegetable, without feeling, without knowing anything. Concentration means coming all the factors together, like our consciousness, rising and falling, time, awareness, all work together in unison. That is what is called concentration. When this concentration is arisen, we notice the subtlest changes of the body, feeling, perceptions, thoughts and consciousness more clearly and sharply. When we see them changing, when we see them being impermanent, greed, hatred and delusion fades away because there is nothing to hold on to. Things are changing and there is nothing to develop our resentment because we are not working against or with somebody, but we are working with the Dhamma, the truth. Truth cannot make me angry, so that also fades away. Delusion fades away when we see reality like rising and falling, when we see the reality of impermanence. So this is how we we improve our practice and we achieve goal of meditation. This is very gradual, systematic. Therefore, without any hesitation or second thought, we keep focusing mind primarily on the breathing, and then you see the rest following very naturally. So with this I want to stop talking and we will have a short meditation for a few minutes. By means of this meritorious deed, may I never join with the foolish, may I always join with the wise, until the time I attain Nibbana. May the suffering be free from suffering, may the fear-struck be free from fear, may the grieving be free from grief, so too may all beings be. From the highest realm of existence to the lowest, may all beings arisen in these realms, with form and without form, with perception and without perception, be released from all suffering and attain to perfect peace. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, friends, you can ask your questions. My friend Brian is there to read the questions, and let us continue the rest, answering your questions. Okay, Brian.
Okay. Bhante G, can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Bhante, the first question came via email. Thank you very much for your instructions on the 7 bhojangas. My question is, during meditation, for many times, quite early in the session, along with metta thoughts, there is a feeling of being calm and very cold despite the hot weather. At that time, should I switch from mindfulness of breathing to contemplating on the arising and passing away of the watching minds? Because it seems only the impermanence of those watching minds is more obvious, whereas the cold feeling appears to be continuous.
Let the cold feeling be there. Cold feeling itself is not something permanent. You will see cold feeling gradually fades away as your mind is focused on your breathing and rising and falling. When the mind is focused, concentrated on one object, like rising and falling, the mind stays there and you don't feel cold feeling. However, if the cold feeling is dominating factor, you focus on that, then that feeling fades away. So feeling whatever, pleasant, unpleasant or neutral, cold or hot, will also fade away. So you focus on whatever you feel comfortable first, and then when you gain deep awareness of impermanence of that, another thing will appear and you focus mind on that and you will see that is impermanent. So whatever you focus your mind on, you will see impermanence. That is how you develop the first factor of enlightenment of mindfulness. Mindfulness factor of enlightenment. What are you mindful of is impermanence, rising and falling of the cold feeling, rising and falling of the heat, rising and falling of your breath. If you have concentration, this is what you will really see. And therefore, this is how we develop our mindfulness of impermanence. So we become aware of impermanence. Becoming aware of impermanence is absolute necessary component of vipassana meditation practice. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
You are welcome.
Okay, the next question. With reference to your example of the goldsmith's son attaining arahanthood, could you please elaborate as to how he overcame his conceit by discerning a lotus that was blossoming, withering and fading away?
Yes, he had a desire that dominates his mind, and the Buddha gave him the lotus flower. So instead of being succumbed to desire, he started focusing mind on the lotus. And then the lotus, his mind is totally absorbed in the beauty of lotus flower, freshness of lotus flower, fragrance of lotus flower, and newness of lotus flower, because he is so used to pleasant color, because he was a goldsmith. He has seen gold every day, gold color. So it is very easy for him to relate to another beautiful color which replaced the gold color. So as he was focusing mind on that color, and he gradually noticed that color fading away in the hot summer day. And as it is fading away, the petals of the flower withered, faded, died, and fell on the ground. The leaves also withered and fell on the ground. The stalk became weak and fell on the ground. Seeing this, his insight arose, insight into impermanence. This so beautiful flower, full of fragrance, young, fresh, gradually faded away and died. Similarly, my body, this body that I like very much, that I had desire for, his desire for his body, his feelings, his perceptions, his thought and consciousness. And he did not see their impermanent nature. That is why he was stuck with the desire for the 5 aggregates. Now, when he saw the flower changing and withering and dying, he immediately became aware or became wise or insightful to see that his body also, young, healthy, strong body, will fade away or is fading away, and gradually he also will be weak and will die, just like this beautiful lotus flower. So it is not very difficult for an intelligent person to compare something very fragile with his body, and in reality he became aware of the body also is not solid but strong. It too is fragile. So that is how it was able for him to get rid of his desire and conceit and ignorance of impermanence. He got rid of all of them. And because he was so focused and he had full trust and confidence in the Buddha, and he got some instruction from Venerable Sariputta, now Buddha gave him deeper instructions with deeper wisdom and compassion. So all these were working in him to make this happen in his mind and attain full liberation. To conclude that, Buddha said, use your wisdom weapon or weapon of wisdom to defeat the Mara. What is the Mara? Desire is one of the armies of Mara. Conceit, another army of Mara. Ignorance is another Mara. So he was able to use his wisdom weapon to defeat them, and then Buddha said once you defeated the enemy, don't stay there, don't hold on to anything, let everything go. Nissarana, abandon everything. So he attained full enlightenment at that moment. That's how it happened. But gradually we have to have a deep insight into understanding this as exactly it is, as Buddha taught us. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante G.
You are welcome.
Next question.
Yeah.
Dear Bhante, this question is about watching the 5 aggregates in your meditation instructions. I follow my breath very closely and see the sensations, the Vedana, of the breath changing and also disappearing towards the end of the in and out breath. It is like you said, it is like the breath disappearing and coming back again, and that I relate to my Vedana part of the breath, and yet the perception, the sanya, still knows that the in and out breath is still there, though the sensation of the breath disappears on and off. But the consciousness or the awareness that is always paying attention to the in and out breath seems to be there all the time, not changing, but watching. I also do not see the volitional formations part, maybe through my lack of understanding. I am so puzzled that the 5 aggregates should happen together, all are conjoined, but consciousness seems to be continuous in seeing the changes. Please correct me if any of the description is due to wrong understanding.
Yeah. Yes. When your understanding is clear, this confusion does not arise in you. So you have to pay total attention to your breath, feeling, perception, mental perception. Volition is your will or desire or intention to pay attention. That also changes. For instance, you intend to have one breath and you intentionally breathe it out. Again, you intend to breathe in, and that also fades away. So every time it is not very gross intention, but very subtle intention, because you are practicing mindful meditation or mindfulness meditation, and you breathe intentionally, unlike other times that breath is going in and out without your awareness. Now we have awareness, and also you have an intention not to use words and simply tame your mind to pay attention to breath. That is your intention. That also change from breath to breath, moment to moment. And you have to see it very clearly. With your constant practice, you will become fully master of that. And then your consciousness, of course, is changing much faster than anything else. However, purely because of its speed of change, you think or you are deluded of thinking that it is permanent. It's just because of the speed. It is like you take a flashlight or a firebrand or something and you turn it round and round very quickly. Then you see a circle. You see the circle because of the speed you turn it. This is what is called optic illusion. So this, because of this speed of the change of consciousness, you see or you experience, you think that it is something solid or permanent. But in reality, the consciousness is changing even much faster than anything else. And that is why the Buddha could not give even a simile to illustrate or to show how quickly the mind or consciousness changes. We have to trust the Buddha, and therefore I would say what you admitted very humbly, that you need more practice and keep practicing, and you will see one day how true it is. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Next question. Dear Bhante, what is access concentration?
As you know, access concentration is a word used by teachers, commentators, and so on, but you will not find it in Buddha's own teaching. However, concentration, the qualities of concentration are there in the access concentration. Access is closer for concentration. It is just like a suburb of a city. You are not in the city, but suburb also has some features of the city. Some features of the city are in the suburb. Similarly, some characteristics of concentration is in neighborhood concentration. What it means is your hindrances are subsided, but they are still hovering over your head in access concentration. When hindrances are totally vanished and mind gains the initial application, sustained application, happiness, joy and happiness and concentration, when all these jhanic factors are working in full strength, then you have full concentration. Before that, these hindrances are not completely vanished, and jhanic factors are not working together in unison in full force, and therefore that state is called access concentration by the teachers, although it is not used by the Buddha. And this is the concentration that when you listen to a Dhamma, it is called vinivarna citta. That is the mind without hindrances. Can happen when you listen to Dhamma very, very attentively. You gain this kind of concentration, and that therefore it is called access concentration. And even that is powerful for to keep the mind clear, clean, pure, so that the Dhamma will stay in that clear state of mind. Dhamma like the Four Noble Truth that Buddha taught, and that is how Buddha did when he delivered the sermon. Somebody, gradual sermon, very gradually, giving dana kata, sila kata, sagga kata, kamana adinava, asada adinava, okara, sankilesa adi, so, and so forth. What means talk on dana, talk on morality, talk on going to heaven, and then the enjoyment of sensual pleasures and their danger and benefit of renunciation. When he gives talk in this order, in this way, the listener listens very carefully, attentively. At that time, his or her mind becomes free from hindrances, because the path is so clear. That is not jhanic practice, but that is the what you call vipassana practice. The path becomes clear, and then hindrances are not there. That state is called access concentration. That moment, Buddha sees the mind in that state, and then Buddha delivered the special teaching, the special to the Buddhas, that is the Four Noble Truths. So, access concentration is a good receptacle. The listener receives the message very easily at that state, because it is soft, gentle, receptacle, and the mind is free from doubt and so forth. That time Buddha teach this thing, and that state of mind is called generally access concentration. This happens when we practice jhana meditation. The moment hindrances are subsided, not completely disappeared, but subsided strong enough, clear enough to receive the deep message of Dhamma. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Next question. In physics, they say that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Rather, it can only be transformed or transferred from one form to another. Under this context, do you think that the Buddha's energy has never disappeared, albeit it is still around us within the well-expounded Buddha Dhamma and the 4 pairs of persons and 8 types of individuals?
Now, you are talking about physics, the energy described in physics. Now, we are talking about the energy, spiritual energy. Spiritual energy has some great strength, and it does its job. Then after that, when the person passes away, attains Nibbana, that energy is also no longer there. This is the kind of energy that is aroused, and even that energy is subject to impermanence, because this is mentally created energy. And Buddha repeatedly said, especially in Atthakanagara Sutta and so forth, and in every place Buddha said, whatever is mentally created is subject to change. Yankinchi chetaitan sabbanta nirodhamma. Yankinchi chetaitan sabbanta nirodhamma. Whatever is mentally created, that is subject to change that is subject to impermanence. And therefore this energy has its function, its job, its power for attainment of liberation. What we are talking about is physical energy, energy described in physics. According to them, that energy is neither destroyed and not created and so on. However, I don't know much about physics. Even the black hole is subject to change. Black hole is not remaining as black hole, although it absorbs energy and bend lights and so on, as I heard, will change and something new will arise. I'm not qualified to talk on that, but therefore I think I stop in that. Okay, next question.
Bhante G, I don't understand this question when I read it. I can try reading it to you, or we can close the session for the day. Do you have a preference?
Yes, we have a few minutes, but I try.
Okay.
If the question is confused, answer will not be clear.
Yes, okay. Let's try. Okay, Bhante, would materiality mentality in motion, whereas the insights of vipassana supplant the rise and fall anicca phenomena, while the breath has become one with the field of Dhamma, upekkha, all in the fourth jhana, settle in the present moment for good, especially at the end of the world, whereas good, wholesome actualities and beneficial universal metta are our only way to be.
Okay, what is the question? This is the statement. What is the question?
I have no idea, Bhante G. I don't understand the question.
Well, is there another question?
No, there's no other question.
Okay. So I must say, this person reframe the question and make it clear for the next time, and ask after clearing your mind and breaking down the question, this statement into questions, and when it is clear you ask me again, and I will ask. When you don't ask me a question, you have to clarify the question in your mind, and when it is very clear you ask. Until then you hold on to this one and we answer next time. For I think if there is any other question, we stop here, and I want to make my benediction or final wish. May all those who are suffering in hospitals, taken care of by very compassionate doctors and nurses and hospital staffs, recover very soon and return to their regular, normal, healthy life and continue their Dhamma practice and liberate from samsaric suffering. All those doctors, nurses and hospital staffs who dedicate their life, sacrificing their comforts, risking their own health to take care of these patients out of compassion, may they continue their wonderful service and live long in very good health to serve the world. May all others who have lost their loved ones, being grief-stricken, may they be relieved from this grief and then live long in very good health and practice Dhamma and liberate themselves from samsaric suffering. others who have generously supported all these years, that especially during this COVID period, and also all other patients in everywhere suffering from various diseases be released from suffering and attain liberation by following the Dhamma. Everybody who participate in Dhamma, practicing meditation, living very mindful life, or without mindful life, everyone be free from pain, suffering, and attain liberation from samsaric suffering. May all you attain Nibbana. Okay?